Yo, what's going on, guys? I'm back with another video. Today, we're gonna be reacting to the mutated animals of Chernobyl. I don't even know how to. I'm not even gonna try to say the name, but mutated animals, basically. Let's check it out.
This forest feels off. Pines twist into bizarre shapes.
Yeah, I really didn't have
Spider
much
webs
to say
hang
about the
crooked
intro.
and uneven. Red firebugs are crawling on the ground, but the patterns on their backs are warped. A bird flies overhead. Its beak is deformed. There's a reason for all this. This forest sits inside a highly radioactive exclusion zone. It's one of the most contaminated places on Earth.
Is this in Russia?
Not far from here, the largest nuclear disaster in history happened in 1986.
Yeah, that's Russia.
Nuclear accident in the Soviet Union, and the Soviets have admitted that it happened.
Deadly radiation is being released from
Thousands died from the radiation's immediate and long-term effects. For humans, the area remains mostly uninhabitable until today. But nature stayed. Plants and animals, wolves, deer, wild horses, birds, and insects. But the radiation changed them. Spring 1986, in the dead of the night.
Bro, I really mess with the animation.
Reactor 4 at
Shout out to the
Chernobyl nuclear
animator.
power plant has just exploded.
Damn, got a whole
Massive
movie
amounts
up
of
in
highly
this.
radioactive material like iodine and cesium are hurled into the air. The radiation seeps into the cells of all living things in the area, including.
Wait, what
also
happened
deer.
in the disaster? Like, how
30
did it
minutes After
happen?
the blast, it's dizzy and barely able to stay on its feet. The radiation has burned the mucosal tissue inside its digestive tract. Cells all
I'm
across.
sorry, the Mokokyo
The
what?
radiation has burned the mucosal tissue inside its digestive tract. Cells all across its body start dying. Blood circulation in the brain falters. And since the blood can't flow
Bro,
properly,
I
pressure
really be
builds up.
feeling bad for these animals, bro. Cause these animals, bro, they're just living their day-to-day life, and it gets all messed up and all changed in a drastic way because of humans, bro. You hate to see it, bro. We cut down trees, really take their homes. It's just, it's a sad thing.
Inside the skull. The deer's blood pressure crashes, it suffers seizures, and multiple organs fail. The next day, the deer is dead. In the following days and weeks, the pine needles change color, first to yellow, then to red. Trees die for kilometers around, giving the area a new name, the Red Forest. A
The
few kilometers
Red
away, a
Forest,
shepherd dog
huh?
lives in the town of Pripyat. For the past day, it's been feeling unwell, tired and nauseous. Its owners are worried. They too feel under the weather, though they don't know why. Then a voice crackles
stayed
over the radio
behind?
with an announcement.
Внимание, внимание! Уважаемые товарищи! Городской совет народных депутатов.
Residents are informed about an accident at the nearby nuclear plant, but
Oh,
they are
no,
sure
this is before the
everything is
accident,
under
never mind.
control. Just to be safe, people are told to leave town for 3 days and to leave their pets
Bro,
behind.
that sucks, bro. Like, imagine you're living in your like small village, and then like all of a sudden you have to leave because of a nuclear disaster, bro. First off, if that happens to me, I'm sprinting out of there because I know for a fact that radiation really is gonna mess up your whole genetic like tissue, your whole genetic things, bro.
The family assumes they'll be back soon, so they leave enough food for the dog for a few days.
Oh, they
But
left
the
the
Soviet
dog too.
authorities are lying. They're doing everything in their power to cover up a nuclear disaster of unprecedented scale. Like tens of thousands of others, this family will never return. Their dog is on its own now. 3 days later, the food is gone. On the 4th day, he leaves the house, hungry and searching for anything to eat. He encounters other dogs wandering the empty streets. They too were abandoned and left behind. Suddenly, shots are fired. The Soviet authorities have ordered
Damn.
police to kill all stray dogs, an attempt to
What?
stop the animals from spreading radioactive material. The
Uh,
dogs flee into the
actually,
forest.
that actually makes
Just
sense.
Like all the other animals here, they find themselves in the heart of the world's largest nuclear exclusion zone.
Is there still like radiation around the whole area? Like, have they not gotten rid of the radiation yet?
Radiation remains dangerously high for months. Many animals develop chronic radiation sickness. Blood pools in their livers and spleens, lymph nodes swell, thyroids fail. The animals grow thin, and many die. Over the next 10 years, radiation levels drop significantly. The only humans left are workers and guards looking after the ruins of the nuclear plant. Beyond that, the area is almost completely abandoned. In this vast and empty space, wildlife can spread freely. Over the years, the zone evolves into one of Europe's largest nature reserves. Countless animals settle in, bears and lynx, moose and foxes, and multiple packs of wolves. Even some of the original residents remain. Hundreds of street dogs, descendants of the pets left behind, roam the area. Swallows skim over the treetops. Frogs leap through the undergrowth, and they are all followed by their silent companion, the radiation.
I mean, it sounds good, bro, because they have no human interventions, this, except that one time when they were shooting down the dogs. But they have a whole set of nature for them, which is good. The only problem is it's all radioactive.
First thing you notice are the eyes.
One of the first signs of exposure to radiation is something called cataract in the eye. It's a cloudiness of the lens of the eye that happens to people who are exposed to higher levels of radiation.
That's Timothy Mousseau. He's a biology professor at the University of South Carolina. Few people know the creatures of Chernobyl as well as he does. He's talking to us from a research ship in the middle of the Pacific, studying the effects of nuclear weapon testing on wildlife.
We've had many exciting visits to Chernobyl. I've been going to Chernobyl pretty much 2 or 3 times a year, sometimes 4 times a year.
A so-called cataract is a clouding of the lens in the eye. It's a common disease in humans known as gray star. It blurs the vision, and its most severe form can cause total blindness. The high radiation levels in Chernobyl cause many animals to develop cataracts. The landscape itself has changed too.
Bro,
this is what a natural pine
is
forest
that like the same thing that happened to the people in Hiroshima when like the U.S. dropped the bomb at Japan? Like their eyes were like white, bro. Like the Hyuga clan, bro, from Naruto, bro. Like that white.
looks like green needles, straight trunks. And this is what a pine forest looks like in the most contaminated areas of Chernobyl. This trunk is twisted, stunted, and misshapen. The wood has changed its color.
I swear
If you
I've
look
seen trees
closely
like
at the
that.
rings, you can see exactly when the disaster happened. Near the base, there are these strange clusters of tangled leaves called witches' brooms. This forest doesn't just look eerily strange. It's a stark reminder of what our actions can do to nature. Seeing it can make you feel powerless, but it doesn't have to be that way. Planet Wild is a community-based environmental protection organization. Think of it as crowdfunding for nature. Every month, their community funds a carefully selected rewilding project to restore forests, bring back endangered species, and protect the oceans. Planet Wild, whatever amount feels right for you. The first has spider webs. Normally, they're neat and symmetrical like this. But here, in Chernobyl's most contaminated areas, the gaps in the strands are far too large. The patterns are warped and chaotic. This is what a barn swallow usually looks like. Note the distinctive combination of blue-black feathers and a red face. This one from Chernobyl has white patches on its face. Its tail feathers are crooked, red face.
Bro,
This
the
one from
eyes
Chernobyl
look
has white
crazy.
patches on its face. Its tail feathers are crooked and its beak deformed, stuck slightly open. A lump protrudes beneath its plumage. A tumor.
Oh,
Many changes are not visible from the outside. You can't see that the swallow will live a shorter life and have lower chances to successfully reproduce. Red firebugs are native to Central Europe. Their vibrant red and black coloring with its symmetrical patterns helps ward off potential predators. But Chernobyl firebugs are different. The patterns on their backs are warped and asymmetrical. Some are missing an eye and the fine black lines are blurred. All of these changes trace back to mutations in the genetic code. This is where the DNA is stored, the blueprint for the insect's entire organism. DNA is made up of 2 strands, twisted together in a shape called a double helix. It's made up of base pairs. The genetic information is stored in the sequence of these bases, kind of like a computer carrying information using ones and zeros. Several of those bases form a gene. The body reads this sequence through complex molecular processes. Genes act as a blueprint. They determine how the bug looks, the pattern on its back, and what it can and cannot digest. They also influence how long it lives, its vulnerability to certain diseases, and even its behavior. Scientists believe these blueprints make up only a tiny fraction of our DNA. Studies in humans suggest that around 8 to 15% of DNA are functional and actively doing something important. Radioactive atoms like uranium and cesium are unstable. They decay spontaneously, releasing radiation. That radiation carries so much energy it can damage living cells the moment it makes contact. It can break DNA directly or split the water molecules in a cell. This creates smaller particles called free radicals.
Bro, do you know how small these molecules are? And they can split them in the cell, bro. But they can do a lot of damage in like in the molecular level.
These free radicals then rip through the DNA. Base pairs can be swapped or deleted entirely, or the entire DNA strand can break apart.
When radiation hits the DNA, it damages it. Most of the time the damage is repaired, but often if there's enough radiation, this damage
can it cause cancer?
Sometimes it will lead to a disease like a cancer or a tumor or some other developmental problem.
Many of these mutations have no effect. The body either repairs them or they occur in parts of the DNA that don't serve an important function. But sometimes those repairs go wrong, and that's when lasting changes can happen, like the ones we see in Chernobyl. These changes can even be passed down to future generations. But some of the animals around
Bro,
Chernobyl
look at
aren't
that.
just mutated.
Like legit, the animals can have a whole generation of like the form, like you know, versions of that like species.
They seem to have adapted and are thriving in their new environment.
Evolution.
This is a tree frog. Normally tree frogs are green, but here in the exclusion zone, some of them are pitch black. The dark pigmentation likely comes from melanin. Melanin is what makes your skin darker in summer. Your body produces it to shield your skin from sunlight, but melanin can also help protect against other types of radiation. According to a 2022 study, the darkest frogs in Chernobyl were found in areas where radiation levels used to be especially high. So does that mean they've adapted to high radiation? Timothy Mousseau is not convinced. He says the data isn't strong enough to prove a causal link.
Frogs in Chernobyl show no relationship between the melanism and radiation level currently. So inside Chernobyl zone, there are light frogs in highly radioactive areas and there are dark frogs in clean areas.
That is just one of the many scientific debates around Chernobyl's wildlife. What can truly be verified and what's too speculative? Both sides hold firmly to their findings. There's another organism that may be putting the benefits of melanin to work. This black fungus. One of them grows here, right inside reactor 4.
I'm not gonna lie, I thought the radiation would have like caused some major ass like genetic deformities. Like I always see there was like the bird with the feathers and stuff and the beak, but I thought it'd be some crazy things like a 3-eye frog and like I don't know, like a 5-leg horse or something like major like that. So far the changes you can't really tell unless you like go to attention to detail. But obviously there is changes because you know it does affect their living.
One of the most irradiated places on the planet. Radiation levels remain so high that nothing should be able to survive here. And yet, this fungus is thriving. Multiple independent studies suggest that this fungus may actually be using gamma radiation as an energy source, much like plants use sunlight for photosynthesis. Unlike in the frogs, the melanin in this fungus doesn't just block radiation. It seems to convert it into energy, which the fungus then uses to grow. Melanized fungi like this one have been found in other highly radioactive places. Astronauts have even studied it aboard the International Space Station. Researchers hope that one day this fungus could act as a natural shield against radiation, perhaps for space travel. As for the fungi in the reactor, it's still unclear whether they've truly adapted to the radiation or if they were just inherently able to cope with it. Larger mammals may have adapted to radiation exposure as well. At least that's what biologist Kara Love and her colleagues at Princeton University believe. They suspect that wolves living in the Chernobyl exclusion zone may be less likely to develop cancer or more resilient to the disease overall, despite constant exposure to high radiation levels. The theory goes like this. Random and spontaneous mutations in DNA make some wolves less vulnerable to cancer. These wolves have a higher chance of survival, while others are more likely to die from the long-term effects of radiation, often from cancer itself. The survivors reproduce. Natural selection happens. Their offspring inherit.
It's actually crazy how evolution works.
They breed with wolves that are also better adapted to radiation, and so on and so forth. After a few generations, the whole pack is less prone to cancer. Researchers say the wolf's DNA evolved in regions around genes linked to the body's immune response to cancer. But is that actually realistic? The research hasn't been published yet, which means there's no way for us or anyone else to verify it. This study and many others have one thing in common. They all suggest that the Chernobyl nuclear disaster may have triggered evolution right before our eyes. Other scientists remain skeptical, including Timothy Mousseau.
We wrote a paper a few years ago where we reviewed all of the literature that had been published on Chernobyl, claiming to test for adaptations and rapid evolution. And in every case, except for maybe one, the data were too weak. They did not have the strength, the scientific strength to support this hypothesis of adaptation.
Mousseau has studied potential adaptations himself. He and his colleagues sampled colonies of certain bacteria in Denmark and at various sites across Chernobyl. The colonies are often found on the wings of swallows, among other places. Back in the lab, they exposed both sets of bacteria to radiation. Some colonies from Chernobyl actually reproduced better under radiation, especially those that had lived for years in areas with moderate background radiation. By contrast, colonies from Denmark...
Damn, I'm not young because the video was boring. The video was actually pretty interesting, especially like the whole radiation thing and like if it actually triggered evolution, we're actually like witnessing beyond our eyes. It's actually crazy how the species of Earth can like go through a such disaster and like evolve from it to be able to adapt. Like the whole adapting part of evolution has always been interesting.
as well as those from the most highly contaminated parts of Chernobyl, were far less resistant to radiation. Because the experiment was carried out under carefully controlled lab conditions, the researchers are confident that this adaptation wasn't caused by any other environmental factor. To study the animals of the exclusion zone, Timothy Mousseau set up around 100 motion-activated cameras throughout the area. In late 2021, they recorded something strange. Russian soldiers. In February 2022, Russia invaded Ukraine. Russian troops occupied the exclusion zone for weeks. Overnight, nearly all
Wait, is this
research
in Russia or
Chernobyl
Ukraine?
ground to a halt. Some scientists were
Oh,
forced to
he did say like the Soviet Union, so it's probably like a part of was a part of the Soviet Union.
flee the zone. When the Russian forces finally withdrew in the
Oh, this
spring
is
of
recent.
2022, researchers returned to find their work in ruins. Military vehicles had kicked up radioactive dust. Offices and labs had been ransacked. Computers and valuable equipment were stolen or destroyed. Long-term surveys were interrupted, and some irreplaceable research data may be lost forever.
Aww.
Several promising studies were put on hold indefinitely. Kara Love and her team never got the chance to return and study the wolves in the field. It's a bitter blow to our understanding of the world.
There always gotta be something, bro. Someone always gotta ruin something. But let me know what y'all think about this whole radiation thing. To me, it's crazy that an event like that happened and a lot of people were forced to move. I think I was watching a video of a dude exploring it, and I think there was still like one person who still lived not like in the area, but like around close enough to be considered a part of that area, if that makes sense. But let me know what y'all like, what you didn't like, and what y'all want me to react to next, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. Have a blessed day. Peace.